It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say it's even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls, 'cause all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out of every scene. Smother the blues with tenderness. Days go by. There's room for you, room for me, for gentle hearts and opportunity. As days go by, it's the bigger love of the family.
Welcome to the first installment of House Calls. Baby girl, tell them what House Calls is.
House Calls is us spotlighting some of our family members.
Mm-hmm.
Today we got two special people who we love a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so thankful that they agreed to
Likewise.
be our first family to spotlight. I know they hold a special place with us.
It's going to be a good time.
It is going to be a good time. You will enjoy. So enjoy meeting our family.
I just want to make sure, the world can see me and I don't have no glare on my glasses or something.
A little glare.
Yeah, I do got a little glare. Okay, let me see what I need to do. Hold on. Let me cut this light on. Come on, honey.
Dude, hold on. Scoot over this way.
Okay.
My dog.
Right there. Okay. Where are you gonna sit? They need to be able to sit down.
Hey!
Hey. Had to make sure my melanin was popping.
Y'all ready?
Yeah, do you got both? Are we in frame?
Y'all are good.
Y'all good.
Okay, I'm just making sure I can't really see unless I'm like this, but then I can't be like that.
So we got Rachel and Jay here with us today. Hey y'all, thank y'all for being here. Jay's face. We appreciate y'all agreeing to do this with us. Y'all are one of our biggest family members. Y'all been with us since the start of SAM. Introduce yourselves. How did y'all meet? How long have y'all been married? Tell us about your family. Anything you want the world to know.
You want me to start?
I don't. So, hey, I'm Jay. This is Rachel. We've been together for, I guess I should let you go, a long time. Let's see, 14 years, I would say.
13.
So yeah, we started before that.
Yeah.
Kind of just met like a lot of people meet, trying to figure yourself out in life, moving around. I was staying with my brothers, and we just kind of like a whole bunch of people piled up in an apartment, living. She was in college, finishing up, about to have Naria, just so happened to cross paths in an apartment complex. It was love at first sight for me. It's a little different for her, but it was a crazy time, and it was just kind of cool how we ran into each other and got to where we are right now.
He was a bachelor, and I was about to be a mother, and it was funny how we met. It was love from him at first sight, and it was get away from me at first sight. And then, you never know what God lays in front of you and who he puts in your path. So now we're happy ever after 4 years, almost going on 4 years.
So you talked about kids. You said that you were about to be a mother. How many kids do y'all have together?
So we have a total of 5.
5 kids. How do y'all balance that? How do y'all balance work life with 5 kids?
Prayer and lots of liquor.
There is no balance. You kind of have to. It's learning process for one, just because she started when we started. She already had a child, and I've had some, and she's had some, and we've had them together. So it's not like okay, now we got it and we're gone. I mean, we're still adding to the family. So there is no such thing as balance. It's always a new element, something that's coming into the equation. So I wouldn't say balance, but we definitely busy because you gotta do something for everybody.
Right.
Nobody's left out of us, but we try to find time for us.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we have probably grown from and learned is to really just balance the difference of kids. I mean, everybody has a different personality. So becoming a blended family, you really have to blend in and find the balance to where the kids are balanced. Yeah. So that we're still working on that. When we think we have it, it's like he says, it's another element that comes into play. But just constantly finding that center of gravity, which is, each other, we're able to get through it.
So I got a question, because I think the kid element in itself is an interesting one. And similarly, Sincere is not my biological son, but a bonus baby from me. So how do you guys see the relationship with the children? Has it grown? How did they interact with one another? Is it like they live in the same house anyway? So you know what I mean? Like growing up, I had my brother in my house with me, my sister in my house with me. But then my sister and me, we moved to Atlanta. My brother was still here. So it was still had the same love, but it was a different connection with me and my sister because we were still in the same house. So just curious, when blending those families, how did that work for the kids?
Of course it was a challenge at first because, adding, but everybody has their own personality. Everybody is different. We can get a couple to get together and at least blend and be functional, but with all those different personalities, it took a lot. It took for us to grow, it took for them to grow, and then it took for us to grow all together, just to get that blend, to get that balance. And then we still have two that's not in the house with us, but they come and they come and they come. And even then you have that balance. You have that first day where it's kind of tension all around because you got different people in your space. And then at the same time, when it's over, you still have those first couple of days. It's like, oh man, well, now it's back to us. So you still got to find that balance. We have to find the balance from when they come, and then we have to find our own balance back for when they leave. So, but just grow through that in time.
I think for me, it was easy to balance in the beginning because for the kids, it was like, oh, I have extra people to play with. They were young. They really didn't have a big concept of it. It was just like, oh, there's more people in our house to play with. So, everybody was having fun and stuff. And then as they grew, as personalities grew, as hormones came into play, as teenagers came into play, that's when we really had to figure out, okay, how can we all come and be balanced with the 5 children? Our youngest is 3, so he kind of just goes with the flow, but it's with our household, we have 2 sets of children that have birthdays that are within days of each other. So they have the same personality. So one of our middle babies, Naya, who's my bonus child, she has a birthday in January, just like our 3-year-old. And then there's Naria, who's my biological, and his bonus child has a birthday with his child and my bonus child, the oldest, which is JJ. Their birthdays are both in July, within days of each other. So they have similar personalities. So we have to figure out, okay, those 2 are on one accord. So when we're doing something, they're on one accord, the youngers are on one accord, and then you have just one that's just out there lingering. So trying to find that balance, and then they're all into different things. And, that is the part that, it's a constant every day. Every time they come back, it's something we have to figure out as they evolve and grow and become teenagers.
That's good. And I think that's important for a lot of people to hear that, because blending families, that's not a new concept. So just people being able to hear that, kind of sharing that experience. thank you for that.
Yeah, definitely grow from hearing y'all's story.
Absolutely.
I do have another question. Y'all said the kids and, y'all work and y'all have this busy life, especially with 5 kids. How do y'all make time for each other? What do y'all do? So that y'all
See?
stay?
Time now.
How do y'all stay connected?
Oh man, I think I'm not a planner, so this really ain't my question. I'm like, I'll just go and go and go and go. But she's real good with just planning it. Of course, it has to be in advance, as far in advance as possible. But she plans those times, and it be just in time. And we do have time to ourselves. It's a wonderful time to be away. We spend enough time, would be just enough time to be away, and then that one extra day to be like, okay, and now I actually am ready to go home. So that really be good. But she's real good with that. For me, I'll just go until I pass out. Now I may explode or something, but
Yeah, I think it's more of a feeling of, yes, we are parents, yes, we have children, but let's not lose sight of ourselves too, because we are the core of this family. So knowing each other and our personalities, and knowing when we're losing sight of our connection, we make that balance. We make that time. We find that time to where, okay, well, we have to do something to reconnect. Because our families is only as strong as our relationship. And that is a main thing. So making sure that we're okay, we're good, and taking the time and spending with him, and taking the time to, sit down and just we go for a ride. We don't even have to go out anywhere, but, we may take a 5-10 minute ride just around the block, just to catch up with each other for just some silence. But knowing when we need to do that, having that, feeling of we're disconnected, so we need to reconnect with each other. We will put everything aside and put a stop to everything and do that.
Yeah, that's really
go
good.
to Target.
And go to Target.
Because we've had some of the deepest conversations in
That's
Target parking lot.
Yeah, we'll sit there for 2 hours
2
before
hours.
we go in there.
And man, let's play this thing. Yeah.
So you guys are married, 5 kids. You guys learn how to, I guess you pay attention to when you need to spend time together. What advice would you give, like a couple maybe that's newly married, maybe someone that finds yourselves in a similar situation as y'all, maybe having a blended family? What's the best advice you think you could give them that you have learned so far in your years of being married, or even being together for a while?
I would think the biggest thing is remember why you started. You started for the love of your significant other. You started because, the way they make you feel. So outside of all that, there's going to be times of disagreements, times where children, they get on your nerves, or there's so much going on. You kind of really have to remember why you started all this. I always say, don't give up. It will be hard because there's always disagreements, because everybody's raised differently. So that's the biggest thing of some, one of us want to discipline a different way. One of us want to discipline the other way, but finding what's right for us. And that's not what we've been taught in the past. But it will be hard. But continue to have that love and remember why you started this whole process. And that is, loving, being with your husband and being with your wife, and knowing that, when you're together, you guys can get through anything, but it's not going to be an easy road, but just keep pushing. That's my best advice.
Yeah. You want to know my advice?
Yeah.
Run. Get out right now. This is not what you want. If your heart is in the right place, you and your partner, please understand that it's not going to be easy, but a marriage is not going to be easy. So you just add another dimension to that. But it'll be all right. It's well worth it. Like you said, if your heart's in the right place, if that's what you came into it for, and you find yourself in that situation, I mean, of course it couldn't have been right now. I mean, you had time to think about it. So if that's where you are, you'll be all right. As long as you keep your heart and remember why. You'll be just fine. It's well worth it, but it's definitely not going to be
I'm glad
easy.
you made that last point, because one of the things that I try to always remember is the fact that, and we talk about this type of stuff all the time. So y'all, this is not new to y'all, but just understanding that love changes. And because it changes, you got to be adaptable to those changes. If you have the same expectation for the person to be who they are tomorrow that they are today, you might be disappointed because everybody's going to grow and evolve. So I think that, Rachel, what you said about just remembering the beginning, like, why did I do this? For me, I think about divorce. And it's like, I kind of feel silly if I want to get a divorce after I asked you to marry me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like you today, but I did. That's kind of silly. So I love that you said that.
Yeah. You have to keep that in the forefront because other things will get into your head and make you think that this isn't what you want. But yeah, absolutely.
Well, we appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you so
We
much.
appreciate y'all.
Yeah, you know we doing this thing still. He's still okay. His clothes are still in the house. So
Thank you to everybody who tuned into this month's episode of House Calls. A big special thank you to Jay and Rachel for being our first victims. We really appreciate them giving us their time. Great episode.
All right, and you guys check back next month to see our next Spotlight family on House Calls.
And connect with us on IG at Save a Marriage LLC.
Also, make sure if you have any questions or any comments or anything, make sure you email us at info@saveamarriagellc.com, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And our next major event is going to be our Fresh meeting, which we'll have on June 19th.
It will be in Franklin at the Aloft Hotel.
Yes.
See y'all next time.
Peace.